Good morning to all. Today we're going to focus on the UK's FTSE, which is flashing a potential double top. That was the second top was marked on last Friday and have been consolidating since around the 9,950 mark or so. So it's Monday, December 19. Markets are reopening after the Christmas break. And while we are seeing consolidation, there is a clear battle between a technical breakout, potentially, and macro headwinds hitting the defense sector. So defense stocks are under heavy pressure because there is reports of progress in Ukraine peace talks, specifically positive discussions between President Trump and President Zelenskyy, and which might have triggered some sort of profit taking in major defense names like BAE Systems and Babcock. Investors are pricing in a potential de-escalation, which is, of course, the headwind that we have been talking about for the sector. However, the broader index is finding balance as capital rotates into other healthier sectors, like like pharmaceuticals, if not mistaken, keeping the FTSE relatively flat rather than selling off sharply. But the main point here, the main catalyst, is that we have to really keep an eye on Ukraine peace talks, because if indeed something, and although it has been a long time waiting, um, does play out in the end, then that is probably going to affect FTSE. Now on the chart, we are looking on the 4 hour. We have had a double top also on the other side here and divergence, and we have been kind of declining towards the 50 line. I think might be some sort of inevitable that we get to the 50 line since we have had this double top correction. Um, and we do uh, pay attention. This is double top at record highs, right? So there is a bullish case built in Harvard, right? Because we need to also look at the structure from the bottom, or at least some structure that provides us a bit more insight. And this is potentially, right, an ascending triangle. Now, ascending triangles move in fives, right? So you've got the A, you've had the B, then the C, the D, and the E. Okay. Now the B wave would be a bit complex and too long, but one way or another, what we are, and if it's not an ascending triangle, what we are saying is that we have had consecutive higher lows, right, consecutively, and we've just stumbled at the previous high. So there is a possibility that this is going to be a continuation pattern. Something else that is important to mention as well is that the previous corrections, right, all corrective legs, have not gone to pierce into the previous zone. For example, we've got very strong resistance or support now at 9,770. Previously, we have come down here, but we didn't break below that level. So we've got a first wave, a second wave, and that might be like a third wave, some sort of wave, to see it, and then the fourth and the fifth, which would suggest, we might see a pullback and then further continuation to the upside. But one way or another, it seems to me that the RSI might not just retest the 50, but it might even go and reset all the way down to 30. Okay, so we'll have to pay attention not just on this level, but also the short-term support around 9,850. So if the double top plays out and defense weakness drags us lower, I would be watching for immediate support breaking or holding at this level that we've just revealed, 9,850. Below that, 9,770, and then below that would be targeting the 9,620. But the line in the sand is really the 9,440 level. Okay, losing that would confirm a local top and shift the trend to bearish. Now, on the top, on the top side, we are very, very close to the 10,000 psychological mark. So any sort of upside above this double top formation, 9,950, would be the psychological levels in between, and then the 10K. Okay, and this is, for, of course, some sort of short-term price action, nothing to do with anything else. So in my mind, um, I think, there is, of course, always two trade plans or no trade plan at all. To me, the technicals look neutral to bullish, okay, above, as long as we remain above 9,770. That might be more of a short to medium term sort of idea to keep in mind. And if buying the top is an option for you, then be my guest. It would be with a target at 10K, okay, and a stop loss just below the 9,850. Um, I will be more interested to sell the breakout to the downside. Um, I wouldn't say specifically exactly that level, but you've got a lot of room to play to the downside and little to the upside. So that gives us a nice stop loss at just above the previous high, right? So, and a target, the second target would be literally this previous swing low at 9,620. And the first target would be the 9,767. Obviously, the first target isn't too much like worth the risk, if that makes sense, but we're not really looking at the first target as something to completely take, take the position exit, if that makes sense. But we're looking at more of a break-even point, or a point where we might prefer to partially just take something out because if consider this scenario, if another piece of news comes out about the peace deal that there is no agreement, or is going to prolong the negotiations, then it might just be the catalyst that would allow FTSE to continue to new record territories. Well, watch the news flows on Ukraine closely. Any peace deal headlines will continue to rock the defense sector and add volatility to the index. So good luck and trade safe.